Hi everyone, I'm Paul at Loft47 and today we're going to look at the tax ID for the brokerage, tax ID for your agents, and how you can generate your 1099s and T4As. So obviously very important task that every brokerage will undertake, and I'm just going to show you where you can go in and add those important tax IDs. So over on the left hand side I'm going to scroll down the purple menu and you can see here I've come to the brokerage menu. It's the one with the wheel. Now if I go over to the main page, you can see the tax ID field. This is where you will enter your brokerage tax ID. Now it's very important that you enter this because it's going to feed through to those 1099s, to those T4As. If you don't enter a tax ID here for the brokerage, then you're going to have a blank field when the 1099 or T4A is generated. So make sure you enter that brokerage tax ID. The next step on this left hand side, I'm going to go down to people and we're going to go into one of our agents. So I'm going to filter by agents and we're going to go into this gentleman's profile here, Barry Johnson, one of our agents. And you can see here within Barry's profile, he has a tax ID and this is the number that we've entered. And now if I go down a bit further in Barry's profile, I can simply download a 1099. We can generate it and you're going to see the tax ID that we've entered up here is going to pull through onto the 1099, and we're also going to see the brokerage tax ID that we entered earlier on as well. So you can see this is a typical 1099 form that's been generated in the system. We've got the payer's federal identification number, which is the brokerage tax ID, and you can see here Barry's tax ID that we entered on his profile has also come through as well to that 1099. So nice and easy, everything pulls across automatically into that PDF document. So I'm just going to close out of that one. What I want to show you now is let's just assume for a moment that Barry is actually paid under his organization name. So Barry is an agent that is a PREC or an LLC, and he's paid under the organization name rather than his personal name. So in that circumstance, we need to first of all ensure that Barry's organization is on his profile. So you would have done this, much earlier, and Loft will help you with this as part of the initial setup. But you want to make sure the organization field is populated with the agent's organization or business name, corporation name. You want to make sure the payable name field is switched to organization. And then what we can do is go down and we can just hit the button to enter the code just to lock that in. That was just a sort of a code word to save that information. And now you can see Barry is associated to Johnson Realty LLC. So that's perfect. So what we can now do is click on Johnson Realty LLC, because this is the tax ID that is now going to pull through to the 1099. Because we have the agent set to payable by organization, because the agent is associated to Johnson Realty LLC, when we generate a 1099, it's actually going to pull through the organization, the business tax number. So I'm going to go back to Barry's profile again. Note these little links where you can just toggle back and forth between the two profiles. I'm going to scroll down now to the download 1099. I'm going to download again for the 2020 1099, and this time we're going to see a 1099 which contains the organization or the corporation tax ID rather than the personal one. And you can see here again we have the brokerage tax ID on this left hand panel. That will always come through, but on the right hand side we have the organization profile rather than the agent's personal tax ID. So there we go guys, that is how you enter your tax IDs in Loft. A very important task for everyone to undertake. So go in, spot check those tax IDs on the profiles. Also remember, if you go to the report section, you go down to tax returns in reports, you can always come in here, you can select the year, and you can download a CSV. So if you download a CSV, that's going to give you an overview of all of your agents and all of the tax IDs. So it's a very handy tool, that CSV, because you can see everyone's tax IDs, you can see everyone's information, and if you need to make any changes, you know exactly where you need to make those changes. If you download in the PDF form in this field, you can download the PDF 1099s, as you saw earlier, for every agent within the brokerage as well. But I would always recommend downloading CSV first so you can review all of your agent profiles, go into the agent profiles, edit those tax IDs if you need to, and then you can run them off in the PDF format. So thanks for watching, everyone. That's how you do tax returns in Loft 47.